Conscious Business Zone with Amanda Lorence. And I am so excited. We've been talking before we got on. So I'm very excited to have this conversation today because, of course, we spoke about a year ago and times have changed a lot. So, Amanda, how are you?
I'm good. You know,
Oh,
yeah, not too bad.
oh,
It's like this, isn't it, for everybody?
well, we're away
Yeah. Hello
from
to everybody, by the way. Hello to all of you out there.
yes. Well, in a moment, I'm going to ask you a question and then put my head down and tag some people. So apologize if I'm a little rude, but I wanted to first start. The last time we talked about the fact that you really awoke in 2012 on my birthday. um, on September 22nd, 2012.
Mm.
And I'd love for people to, because there's people, you are advanced soul and you have advanced knowledge, but really you've got 8 years of condensed work that has gotten you here. So could you talk a little bit about the journey so that people can get an idea that they're not left behind?
Oh wow, yeah. I know what. Yeah, nobody is. Yes, I will while you do your admin and tag me hopefully. But yeah, nobody is left behind. It's irrelevant when you awake. Okay, let's say that again. It's absolutely irrelevant. People could be awake the whole of their lives. Imagine that, being awake for decades and the world not being ready for them. Imagine living all of that time and the world just isn't ready
Right.
for you. So then you get, people like me awake 2012, and then people just awakening now. The point is, you've chosen it. You chose at soul level before this incarnation when to wake up. So some people chose at soul level, right? I really want to see what the experience is like to be awakened at a really young age. That's what I'm choosing. And then other people, okay, I'd like to do it 2012 on that year when everything started to accelerate. And then a lot of people did it around there, 2011, 2012. But then there's other souls that have said, well, no, I really want to push it out and not have a clue and awaken now. But here is the golden nugget, and this is the bit that, oh my God, it excites the pants off me almost, is that there are a lot of unawakened people that we can say are in 3D that are asleep. And they are on their ascension journey and don't even know it. They don't know it. They're on the 5D track. If you imagine a train, it's going to 5D, they're on it. But those people have decided at soul level, pre-incarnation, I don't want to know until the very, 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 very last minute. And then I want to get that surprise. Now, I say that from knowing, because I've been shown it. So anything that I write, anything that I say, it's not a belief system. It's not, oh, I've heard that over there. So, oh yeah, I think I resonate with that. That sounds quite good. No, I won't do that. I've never done that. It's from sight. I'm very, very visual, as in my physical eyes are. And then my third eye is, and then I get a lot in dream time. And then I get a lot through the vibration now of my body, which has been increasing and increasing ever since I woke. Because ultimately, sorry, I kind of didn't really answer the main question, but ultimately speaking,
this is all, it's great stuff. Thank you so much.
It's hard being in the brain these days, but ultimately, my path is, I don't like this phrase, but it explains it easily, but I don't like it because it is energy mastery. So that's what I've been doing internally with my body for 8 years behind the scenes. And so I now, when I feel an energy, I can actually, within my physical being, I can actually decode it. And then my brain understands what it understands data.
Well,
So, anyway, there we go.
That's part of why I love listening to you and following you is I don't have words. I feel everything, and I have since I was a little girl. But like I remember I was on Todd's Soology, and he goes, "Well, how is this different than other stuff, other marketing?" And I was like, I have no words. I really, I just know or I feel. And then I go with that because I trust that more than this. I trust this.
Yeah.
And so, and you have, but you can articulate it. That's what it's like. Bonus round. I've got a word now.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have words. So, so I'm gonna, so basically you're saying that everyone is on some sort of ascension plan, whether they know it or not.
Yes.
And there's some of us that are lucky enough that are doing the inner work that we can enjoy the journey and really play with it because we're creator God.
I think the main thing is to for anyone newly awakened, or even if you know you're awakened a few years, is to not panic and not worry that you're missing the boat, because you're okay. Let's really get to it. Why would God forsake one of his or her children? Okay, right. God is all of you. So what if you are a facet of God? Why would God forsake you? Right. Because you already are a part of God. It doesn't make any logical sense whatsoever. But you know, I would also say that the people that are just awakening are on fast track. Okay, that their awakening will be much faster than mine. Mine's been 8 years. My awakening has been much faster than somebody, and I'm not quoting everybody here, by the way, but somebody that may have been awake all their lives. Something had to hold that person back that's been awake all of their lives for this timeline. Okay, right. So right. They have to be held back if they're awake a long time. Right. So what holds them back?
Or that was their soul's choice, right? Yeah. I mean, I feel that we all picked this timeline and to embody this timeline in this way. And it's almost like there was a script written, and it's not.
There was a script written.
Right. But it's not like predestination, like that kind of thing. It's more that you will have these feelings and see if you go through the labyrinth and can get to the center or not.
Yeah. So right? Again, you know, something I was shown, I think it was 2017, was that pre this life, we are given what is called, or I call, a crystalline program. Okay. It's made of crystal. And that crystal, you're told, because I've actually witnessed myself at the scene, and you're told that you're going to forget, that you're going to be placed here, but you've got this program which will awaken you, and then from that we will design the whole life for you. And it's you're choosing to do this. You're wanting to do it because you want to come. But within that crystalline program are your family that you're born into, the part of the world, your star sign, key parts of your life that have influenced you or caused you trauma, right. Key people that you meet. It's not by chance. None of it's by chance. Right. And then you awaken. So within the crystalline program, again, you've got key stages of your awakening.
Okay, perfect.
So everybody does actually follow their own unique design, but we all share a main storyline.
Right, because we're in the game. We're in this.
Because we are in the game, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so when you say that we awakened. When I first started following you, this is a very crude version of your beautiful diagram. You talked about how a bunch of people split off last, was it 2018 or was?
I think it was 2018. I've
Yeah.
got an updated version of that.
Oh,
now.
you do? Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I felt when I saw this, it was like, oh, I'm here to help the healers to help these people go here, because there isn't an operating system. There's an operating system here. This is pure polarity that we're in right now. Oh my God. With the political systems. I mean, that's what a lot of humanity's in. And so what I see what you're doing is pulling people to here, but that's not necessarily just the dimension we can access. We can access, I know we can access much higher than 5.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, and people do temporarily, they will access higher fields of frequency, which we call dimensions, but there are actually fields of frequency, and each field has a great big range of bandwidth, frequency bandwidth. This is the sort of updated version.
Good.
This is January's version. I don't know if this is.
Oh yeah, okay.
Can you see that?
Okay, so 3D still over 3D, but it can still go to 5, right? And then 4, what does it say? Temporary? Can't read it, but I can put on my
temporary timeline.
Oh,
so it's really hard for me to do 2 things at once. I'll have to put that down. Okay, well, but
explain it.
Basically, there's the 3D continuation that some souls are choosing. So they're choosing not to awaken, and they're choosing to transition. And what actually happens is they ascend after they leave the body. They ascend after that.
Okay.
Then we've got that. We've also got the unawakened on that 3D track. Okay.
Right.
But the red arrows that you can see are that there are many people that we can term unawakened that will move over to the 5D track. And this is what's happening now, but it will continue to happen. And some people will be very last minute, and they've chosen that. Okay, so it's not to worry about other people. Then we've got people that have been awakened and have absolutely been on that 5D route, and there they are headed to the 5D. But this is the beauty of this little part here, the red there, is some of those people are choosing to go back into 4D. Now 4D is sorry, I'll just turn that off. Sorry about that. Some people are choosing to go back into 4D in order to help out. Now, this is actually such a divine calling that they have, because 4D is a transitory field. Nobody stays in it for good. It's just that field to help people from the unawakened state to the 5D state. We go through the 4D. We don't stay in it. But there are people that are on the 5D track that are choosing to jump off that 5D track back into 4D to help out, because there's what we can call a lot of infiltration of darker energies in the 4D. Causing quite a lot of infiltration. And so the people that are extremely focused and far clearer within their bodies are choosing to kind of like jump off the train to 5D, go into 4D and help clear up. So and you know, that's just now.
Right.
That's just now. So
Exactly what we're in right
it's
now.
beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So that's what I was saying, is that it appeared that a lot of the teachers, because this construct, the constructs of the leadership and society of the earth, the thing we're evolving out of, it had operating techniques. You
Yeah,
how to
yeah,
operate here, and
yeah,
don't necessarily know how to operate here. So the people
absolutely.
that are here, bringing these people here, they're the new teachers, not gurus, but the way showers.
Yes, well, to explain that, it's a really good subject to talk about, which I haven't really talked about, and yet I do understand it.
Okay.
So I was given what we call the I was shown, should I say, what we call the 3D blueprint a couple of years ago, and on the same day I was shown the 5D blueprint. Now, what's happened? Yes, the 3D blueprint was pristine when it was created.
Cat.
It was perfect and beautiful, but it got manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at the 4D, which is when a person awakens, there's been people in that 4D realm for many, many, many years, and almost set up home there, if you like. Let me say that. But because they have been awake for so long, they kind of set up home there and created businesses there. Is that the 5D way of even the word business? I can't cope with. Okay. But never mind. That's mine. I'll own that. Okay. But
There's sacred.
Is that the way business is? Oh, services are given. Is that the way of the 5D blueprint? And the answer is no. No, it's not. So that, you know, everybody's on their path. Everybody will understand the 5D blueprint at their own time. It's not even something that has to be taught, because it will just evolve within them. But the 5D is a giving field.
It's service.
It's not a give and take system. It's not a system of, if you pay me, I will give you this service.
Right.
But pay me first. It's not that. Okay, that's it. This is the whole transition that we'll see occur. It's actually a giving field where everybody gives. But of course, to get to that point of giving, you have to trust. And that is part of the ascension journey, is evolving within yourself so that you trust your path. You trust that you will be given to. So you're not seeking services, in effect, on the outside. If you need services, they will come to you.
I understand.
Through the resonance, through your resonance and their resonance.
It's magnetic.
It is magnetic. That's the best way to put it, actually. It's all magnetic. You don't have to try. That's the mind. The mind tries, okay? And the mind tries to work everything out, and the mind tries to plan.
Yeah.
The 5D is just about listening to the higher self that you have embodied and going along with it, because you have no resistance to it, because you do trust from within. And so it's actually a very much easier way of living, because you don't have to try.
Right. Well,
it's all given.
But you're working from your heart. And I watched one of your recent videos, just a last week video, and you were saying that 5D is a do no harm space. Could you talk a little bit about that? Do you remember that?
Yeah. And again, that's part of the ascension journey for everybody. It's such a transitory journey from what we learned as a child, and then how we chose to operate as a human being and an adult. So the whole ascension makes us question ourselves, our belief systems and our behavioral systems. So there's two things, and they're very distinct. They're not the same thing. There's our belief systems and our behavioral patterns. So we literally take none of that with us to fight it, because none of those belief systems exist. None of those behavioral patterns exist. We will have dissolved them before we become a consciousness experiencing 5D on a permanent basis. So not the dipping in and out, which we experience now, right. but to actually be that state of consciousness on a permanent basis. All of those belief systems that we've learned from society, and all of those behavioral patterns that keep us in lower frequencies, have to be seen and then dissolved. So that's why I call it, that we do no harm in 5D, because we literally, our state of being can't. Our state of being, if I just draw just really quick, it won't take me a sec, and this is what
I love how when you draw.
Right, this will be so rough, it'll be terribly rough. Okay, so if that is okay, so if this is hertz, which is frequency, which is energy, and our path takes us up, okay, like this. So we're always increasing our energy, spiraling up. Our body, our four bodies are increasing in energy. But as we do, this is our experience, say, in the day. And then, as we shift, then all of this comes up here, okay? And then these are emotional, what we call emotions.
I see.
Emotions are just energy.
Right.
Energy that we choose to define through the mind.
Right.
If you take the definition away of anything you're feeling, because you're just defining what the energy is. So at this point in 3D, we can experience over here extreme anger, rage, loneliness, sadness, turmoil. And then over here on the higher range, we can experience happiness, joy, bliss, ecstasy, excitement.
Right.
As we actually take our journey of ascension up, we lose these extremes.
Makes sense.
Okay, so as we go higher, okay, these are more emotions. We actually become a more balanced human being.
That makes sense.
Because we're spending far more, we're going up in frequency as a person, we're spending far more time in 0 point. And we've done the work which rids the behavioral patterns and these belief systems that are still in operation in the 4D. They're still there, but we become a more balanced state of being. And so if I am a balanced state of being and you are a balanced state of being, you can have a perception that is different to mine,
right?
And I can just honor that in a very calm,
perfect,
respectful, honoring way.
Yes.
If I was down here in 3D and say lower 4D, then I could get annoyed, I could get violent, I could call you names, blah 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 blah.
Or you'd be in judgment.
And
the other is an honoring. It's almost, oh good, Kat finally decided. That was the first time Kat's been on Conscious Business Zone.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh,
Oh,
now
I
I'm
love
all
you.
her. But anyway, well, she liked the vibe, I guess. So
Oh, bless.
so I love that because I feel that all along I've been working through trust, but
Yeah.
trusting all of it. I mean, I know it, but then I get triggered. And so when you showed those timelines that condense with the emotions, that's
Yeah.
trust, right?
Yeah. So it's through our inner work of actually seeing our own behavioral patterns. So if I get triggered, then I need to look at something within me because I've had a response, I've had a trigger. So if I look within me very, very deeply and trace it back, it will go back to my childhood. And then I can look at that and see the misperception my child had, because there will be a misperception my child took on and took through life.
The construct.
And that way, I actually clear that childhood misperception. It could be a teenage tantrum,
Hmm.
right? But you take it forward because it stays in your brain, it stays in the small mind until it's seen. And as soon as you trace it back, you can dissolve it. And
Right.
so you you're seeing that actually you're behaving based on a misperception you had as a child. And so you will get a similar circumstance again. Okay, you will, because that's your higher self making sure you've learned. Okay, so you will get that a similar circumstance again where you previously were triggered, but this time you don't get triggered. You just don't.
Yeah.
And it's at that point that you go to yourself, wow, I didn't get triggered by that person.
Yeah.
I've actually cleared that. And that sets you free, and you get set free again and again and again as you work through. So, of course, you don't take those behavioral patterns with you. This is what I love about the labyrinth. Now, the labyrinth isn't just about planet Earth, the labyrinth is a whole of the creation, the design.
Hmm.
It encompasses all universes,
Okay.
all galaxies. And what I love about it, because I was shown that with my physical eyes, I was actually taken through it
Wow.
many, many years ago. Yeah, I mean, I was seeing it just as I'm seeing you, or just as I'm seeing this laptop. I was wide awake. What I love about it is it's foolproof. It's frequency based, it's energy based. So these dimensions, sure, we can dip into them and we can come out, but we can only go there permanently if we match the frequency of it. So
I understand.
this is why I say the 5D is a field of do no harm, because we only are able to hold the consciousness that we call 5D, and it is only actually a heightened raised frequency that we're experiencing by.
Right.
But the only way we can match that frequency is if we let go of all the behavioral patterns and belief systems that we have taken on and made. Even the personality isn't real. It's an overlay to give individual unique experience for each facet of God.
Exactly.
So there's parts of our personality that we will view and choose to discard along the path. And then there's parts that I call qualities, and they're qualities I choose to retain. And those qualities give me the identity that I take up.
I
You
see.
see,
Well,
so
you're in
it's a very, very beautiful process, even though it is also quite hard for people, including myself. So
okay.
we're all in the same boat.
No, it's great. Thank you. And that really helped a lot to explain the new, the do no harm, because there's a lot of um, the law of one that was written and channeled from Ra said service to self versus service to others was how they realized back 26,000 years ago, that's how they decided who they could harvest to go to the next dimension,
Yeah.
go to higher dimensions. And back 26,000 years ago, there weren't enough of us. So, and the only ones that were capable were in South America, I think in Peru, and they stayed to try to help humanity for the next time, the Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
That's what they said. And so this is what's so beautiful, is that we're now at a totally different time. The internet allows people to get triggered and aware of so much more. And of course, there's thousands of books now, but there's a lot of people that have gotten to the tipping point, which is why I was asking about this gap, the gap that between here and here. And you have the new diagram that shows the red arrows that say, okay, I can go there. So,
yeah, it's not cut and dry, that's for sure. It's not.
I think it's every day it's different, because you get the opportunity to see if you're triggered from something else.
Yeah, I think the part about the service to self rather than in service to others is there's a lot that's physically unseen by the eyes at the 3D level of consciousness, because we can only see physically at the and hear, touch, smell at the energetic level that we operate by. And so as we increase our energy, our level of energy, so those sensitivities increase. Okay, so there's a lot that doesn't get seen physically at 3D and also 4D level. But what I've seen is the interconnectivity that underlies all of creation. And so that's why it allows for service to self to be experienced by creator. Because if you can't see that everything is connected, you will feel separated from this and that. I'm separated from you. If you could see physically that I was actually connected to you and everything I say affects you and you and you, then we would be far more mindful of our words.
Exactly.
Because everything we each do affects everything else, and it goes far beyond Gaia. It affects Gaia. I mean, Gaia absorbs the whole of the energetic that humanity, that the energy that is created by humanity, Gaia absorbs. If we saw how we affect the animal kingdom, if we saw how we've affected the plant kingdom, then and that affects us, then we would see that it is actually all one. Everything we do here on Gaia affects the universe, etc., etc. Everything's connected. It's just that we physically, because here we have to physically see it, or it has to get proven. That's the experience of separation. But once it's all one, that what you do to yourself, you're doing to another, and what you do to another, you're doing to yourself. Because it's all one.
Perfect.
And you can't undo that once it's known.
That's perfect. So I agree totally. And I see that so much of this is heart work to me, where it's where if you have a construct where you say your self-talk says something, and then you can go, is that true? What if I flipped that? So if you said, oh, I knew they'd do that, and because you've already created that construct with someone, the dance or the game, and then you go, maybe I don't want that. Maybe I'll flip it. Byron Katie does, do you know this to be true? How do you know this is true? So you use the self-inquiry and flip it and choose the other side of it and experience that. but you have to be aware, you have to be in the moment, present, to choose the other.
Yeah, I mean, it can get complicated if we choose to make it complicated, and I'll go into that in a sec, but
Okay.
but the simplicity is to just choose love.
Perfect.
So it doesn't have to, the mind doesn't have to complicate any of it. If you're always just coming back to love, even if you know you get triggered,
Right.
but then come back to love.
Right. Perfect.
This is what you do. You just go straight up.
Right.
You
Right.
don't have to get sidetracked by complication of any kind whatsoever.
Right. Right.
Love is the highest frequency for the human being to experience. Love is so because it's an energy and it's the highest one, it's what 0 points you.
Yeah.
So we have to experience the polarity of this and that, and we have to acknowledge all of our emotions because they are all ours. And it's the only way to 0 point is by acknowledging them, owning them, taking responsibility for them. But I've kind of gone off track a little bit from your point.
Well, what the reason why I brought it up is I think that a lot of people, I don't know what it's like in England, but people are very triggered right now. They're either, they may feel safe and secure and connected to their source, and then the next minute they get a phone call, where's your payment? And so there's a lot of the wave of fear comes and goes. And
Yeah.
so that's why I wanted to bring this up, wasn't because I don't want to control any of what you want to share. I feel like a sponge.
No,
I'm so excited, but I do think that, you know, anything that you could share that could help people question that storyline, because that's not real. That's not the reality we really are in.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this is the part that is getting forgotten in this current present timeline. That is also a perfect current present timeline. And that is that, yeah, we're all sharing the same bigger picture story. Yes. But you're creating your world. And that's what's being forgotten. So as soon as we go into fear, it will be a reaction to something in your dream.
I see.
Your higher self has created that in your dream for you to choose how to react. And there lies your power, is to choose how to react. Is it mine or is it theirs? Is it my reality or is it somebody else's reality?
Perfect.
Take your power back. Don't allow the brain to continue on its autopilot of react, react. Be the master. In other words, be the observer of your mind. How is your mind reacting? As soon as you start to observe your own mind, guess what happens? You come out of the dream.
Right.
And you start. And when you start to do this, this is the start of your empowerment. You start to be the observer of this mind that was on autopilot within the dream, reacting to the dream.
Right.
As soon as you start to practice every day being the observer of your own thoughts,
yes,
what do you become? This is key. What do you become when you're the observer of what's going on in here? You become the conscious awareness.
Right. Right.
The conscious awareness that actually will drop in to the whole of your being over time and practice. So then you become the one that was masterminding the whole of your reality all along. And you had no idea about that. You were just reacting to the dream itself, trying to cope, trying to change this, trying to put this in place, because then, if I do this or this or this, it will be better and I'll have a better life.
Right.
It's so beyond that. That is just reacting in the dream to the dream itself
Well,
by this program that
right.
we're
It's
coming out
surrendering.
of.
It's surrendering your capacity to co-create with all that is. I mean, we're all co-creating our hologram. I'm calling it a
Yeah,
hologram.
the higher self is presenting your individual storyline to you and just to you. That's why we all have different lives, different setups. So we've all chosen this, and it's just playing out for us to awaken from and to choose again. Let me tell you something, Kathy. I learned last year, I think it was late last year, I think. The whole key to this life for each person to understand. So above all that plays out, okay, above the dramas, above the turmoil, above the joys and the beauty and the solidity and the health or lack of health, above all of that, what this allows each of us is choice.
Mm-hmm.
And the choice comes from the mind. So every single time something happens in your dream, you get to choose how to react. And how you react in that moment will create your next moment and your next moment and your next moment. This is why it's key to master the mind, because then you get to master your reality. You master your creation. You become the master, which you always were at a higher self perspective,
Right.
but not here. You become the master of what you wish to create. Instead of being at the mercy of the dream, instead of being disempowered by the dream and all the people in the dream and the systems in the dream, you become the master of your creation because you master this.
Yes. And I know that you started doing PM,
Yeah.
transcendental meditation.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that how you were able to master your mind?
TM is a meditation that I highly recommend, because all it is designed to do is to take you into no thought, no thinking,
Right.
no distraction. It takes you into the field of all that is, or nothing and everything, where you are literally nothing. And to do that each day, just for 20 minutes, twice a day, it accrues over the weeks and then the months and then the years. So it's not that you just do it one day and then that's it. It adds to your being,
Right.
which means that further down the line of doing that practice, you can be in any situation and come out of it. You can be in no thought. You can be in awareness.
Right.
Now, that for me has allowed me to see at higher frequency with these physical eyes. By dropping my thoughts, I can see beyond what looks like a cloud, but I'm seeing it with these physical eyes. So not just that actually, but what I'm doing now on the tour,
I wanted to bring that up.
I'm able to bring in more energy by not thinking, by letting my human step out of the way. And for a few weeks, not every week up there, but for a few weeks, I've been actually giving energy out. And the only way I can give the highest energy I can possibly give out is by allowing my human to step out of the way, so that the divine energy can literally move my body. It pushes my body all over the place. I have nothing whatsoever to do with it. and so I'm just being a physical vessel.
Right.
So the TM has helped, absolutely. Not just that though, but it aids people's sleep, because you don't do the meditation before bed, because that would actually enliven your mind. But you would, it actually, because of the practice that it is, it just means you sleep very, very peacefully. And you sleep just like that, 5-10 minutes and you're out, and that's it.
Yeah.
And the other thing it does, that it accrues, is it makes you a calmer person throughout your day. You're less nervous, you're less hyper in terms of and all of that. You become more relaxed, and calmer, and yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I want to let everyone know I'm sorry I'm not reading all your comments, but this is so good. I wanted to, but thank you all so much for your comments, and we'll look at them later. But I didn't want to, no offense or anything, I didn't want to break this all up because I wanted to get as much stuff as we can from Amanda. Okay, so Amanda, you brought up the tour. So everyone that's watching this now or on the replay, Amanda Lorence has been going up to the Glastonbury Tor, which is the heart chakra of the world. And she's been doing live transmissions that are palpable. I mean, you can feel the heart waves, and it's almost like a flux of like a heart pounding.
Yeah.
That you can feel. So could you talk a little bit about what inspired you to do that?
Yeah. First of all, I just want to add with that is people are joining from all over the world for the time, which is in the UK at 1111, so 11 minutes past 11 every Sunday. And I think we've had about 920 people joining all at the same time. To anchor energies for Gaia, because it just comes in instantly. So in March, I received a third eye sudden sight just before I was going to bed of people stood around the Tor. And I ignored it because I was just going to bed. That was that. And then 2 weeks later, I received boom, 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 boom. I was actually doing what I call Gaia mapping, which is reading the signs of Gaia. And it was through that all of this information came, that you've got to go up the Tor. It has to be on the sun day. It has to be a 1111, which I queried at the time because I didn't want to get up early, to get there and walk and set up. And so I just really double checked, and I got 5 times confirmation of the same. Literally within about 4 minutes, I got the same number 5 times. So this is to accrue people. It's to help people. It's not actually to help people in a sense. This is humanity remembering how to work with energy as one, together, because we knew how to harness energy. We've just forgotten.
Right.
The power of doing that all together actually multiplies out. So I was told categorically to do that in order to build the numbers, and then over a period of time for a future timeline to come. And then after week 1 of doing it, we had lockdown here, which was hilarious when you think, that we're supposed to be coming together. This is the higher energetics telling us come together, and the 3D is saying stay apart. So can you see the parallel that goes on? So anyway, I go up regardless. Funnily enough, only yesterday I do a lot of personal recordings on my phone when I get what I call learning dreams, which is specific information that says, Mandy, you need to know this, this, and this. And it's super clear and very, very detailed. And I wanted to look up a dream that I'd recorded maybe last year. And I played the wrong dream. Okay, yesterday on my recording, I thought, this is the one I want, but it wasn't. I played supposedly the wrong recording. And the recording was one I'd completely forgotten. And I found this out yesterday because I listened to it. It was recorded on the 22nd of December last year. It was a learning dream of the tour, and everybody was gathered around the tour holding hands in this dream. And when I was looking for another dream recording like yesterday, and when I heard this, I thought, oh my God, I'd completely forgotten, because I've got memory like a sieve. You know, I can't remember anything. So I'd completely forgotten in March that I'd already had that information, because I just can't retain the information in my brain. I guess it's supposed to be that way, but
that's why you get it.
So it's actually for a future timeline. It's helping humanity remember how to work with energy, and people are having so many separate different experiences in their homes all around the world, because they message me afterwards and tell me their experiences, and their bodies are moving, and they're having sights, and it's this power of everybody coming together at the same time. It has so much more energetic power than if we do it separately at different times. But it's for a future wave, a future energetic that comes from the sun.
So it's calling it in.
Yeah.
Well, we're like resonance. We're like lightning rods bringing it in.
We're like anchors. If you think of a pillar of light, it literally is what the human being is.
Exactly.
We're like a battery in a sense.
Exactly.
And the charge comes down from the sun into our crown. It goes through and we give it out to Gaia. But as we're doing that, we are also filling up with that energy ourselves. It's massive. If you imagine that by 900 people, but then people do it in their own time as well. So they're supporting in their timelines. It's us remembering how we work with energy by our bodies, not by devices, not by apparatus that's man-made.
Right.
Our energies are unique, have unique and energetic abilities, and we all have different energetic abilities.
Perfect.
And we're remembering how to use our bodies to serve the whole and to serve Gaia and galactic as well. It's way beyond this planet, what we're doing at the moment on the tour. It's way beyond just the planet.
So do you feel you're getting some of this dream insights from your higher self, or possibly from ETs, or your star origins? Do you feel that you're getting it where you feel like
my higher self is embodied, so it was separate, yeah, but the journey has been to embody it, and it became fully embodied on the 21st of December last year, solstice. So since that full embodiment, I've been unfolding within myself, if that makes sense, right?
I totally
I've been learning about me, which is my higher self. That's not to say I don't then can revert into my lower self, but it's far less, far less, because we become the lower self gets less, and the higher self becomes more the being that we become. But once a higher self has birthed within the body, it's very fast, that process. So we're always building up to that. We're always understanding a bit more about the higher self, but it feels separate until it isn't.
Yes.
And then when it isn't, it's super fast how it unfolds within you, but you just let it. It's you don't have to try, it will just do it. And so the question was the higher self. Yeah, I've answered that, but I've always had support since I woke from galactic. I just don't talk about it too much.
I love it.
As you probably noticed, I don't talk about it too much. My path when I first awoke categorically, and this isn't for everybody, I'm not saying this is the way to do it. I absolutely am not, because not everybody's supposed to do it this way. But I was told categorically when I awoke to not be distracted by anything. So if you think of a tree, and you could go down this branch or this branch and study this or study that, I was told my path would be that. So the galactics I could go down that route of exploring my galactic origins. I've witnessed my initiation stages with Sirius. Two initiation stages were on Sirius.
Okay.
The Lyrans, the over-residing energy, it calls itself, the over-residing energy of Lyra, supports me more than I've got words for.
That makes sense. Okay.
As love. And then there's the sort of support and knowing of the Pleiades and blah blah blah. It goes on. The Lemurians have been a huge part of. They come to me at certain dates, and I see them play in front of me with my physical eyes. So I have these influences, yes, but they stand back. They know that my path has to be, I embody from within here, not by this help or this support, or because everybody's ultimate empowerment, the way you empower you, okay, it's key, this is from within yourself. It's not from that person or this person or this galactic being. Only you are to do it. It's you going within you that is your empowerment, that we keep denying because people will look on the outside. Why? Because in 3D, if you don't know something, what do? You find somebody who does. You employ somebody's services who does know. And that's the 3D influence. It's actually denied us over thousands of years our own power, which is within us all.
Right.
And so the galactics, and also what I would say is beyond galactic, because even though I have galactic support, my essence is beyond the galactic.
I understand.
Okay, so I don't
too.
need to give too much attention to galactic. I know they're there. I can call on them if I wanted to, but they know my empowerment has to be from in here, not by relying on another support system. But so yeah, there is the support, but there's the support beyond the galactic for me.
The reason why I asked is that I wondered if dream time was when a lot of the galactic support team would communicate with you, and that might have been where you got the inspiration for the tour. That's why I brought it up.
Oh, well, dream time is a beautiful subject to talk about.
Do you have time? Because we're about at an hour, but are you okay with going?
Well, what I can, I'm fine. But what I can say, I'm fine for time. But what I can say is, to answer the question, is I get things in multiple ways. Beings will come to me in the daytime that I see with these eyes.
Yeah.
But they come to me when I have transcended into no thought. So I can be sat outside or whatever. I'll then also receive in dream time what I call learning dreams. I'll also be woken up in the middle of the night, and I'll get up and then I'll be shown something outside. So I have been taught a lot, in a sense, so I think about me talking about translocational waves, which is the future of how we communicate, basically. And it's a higher level of communication. And it was actually the Lemurian council that resides on the Orion belt that told me all about the translocational waves. So there's plenty of support if I want it. but will that support empower me, as in allow the physical human being to become an energetic service to the whole? And the answer is no. I have to do that myself.
I understand.
So I don't rely on anything. No, I don't rely on crystals. I don't rely on books, courses, nothing. I never have. And it's not for everybody, but it makes it harder. It really does. It's a hard path to do it that way. But it is actually the most empowering way to do it.
The way that you've done it, however you've done it, whether it's been by, all I want to say is I want to compliment you at the highest level, because your way that you communicate and share your information resonates so highly and supports so many people on their journey to knowing themselves. It's egoless what you do. It's totally in pure service and love. And I just want to thank you and compliment you so much. I know that you just do it naturally, but you are helping people on such a profound level as they navigate all these changes, and it's activating people. It's truly a gift of awareness of self at the God self is what you're offering. So I know you're just doing it because you're inspired, and you might be instructed, but you're inspired. But you are helping thousands of us that didn't have words for it, didn't have concepts, felt it. I mean, there's a lot of us highly sensitive people, highly empathic people that are seeing and knowing the other that's here. And we didn't know how to put it into form. I didn't necessarily. I've benefited tremendously by your sharing, and thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. I'm just answering the call because my path is in stages, and when I awoke, the experiences I went through, I'd searched for answers out there, and I didn't find the answers to the particular experiences I went through. So I just figured if I could help one person, then that would help, because I didn't have any help in that sense. But I was told within me to open up Facebook when I awoke, not when I awoke 2 years into awakening. I was told within myself by my higher self to open a Facebook account, because there'd come a time when people would be so confused and not know what to believe, who to trust, and that the numbers would grow for that timeline when the whole of the planet would be in the mass confusion. And we are literally in that now. So, it has really sort of everything I've shown has either happened or is going to happen. I really do trust. I can only live by my path. I live my path, put it that way. I live it, and it actually unfolds as I'm shown. So I have complete trust in what I say or what I share, but it's never my perspective. It's just information. And I think that's what you pick up on, Kathy, is it doesn't have like a personality influence to it. It's just, here's the information. If it helps, if it doesn't help, that's perfectly fine too, because it doesn't matter to my path whether it resonates or doesn't resonate with a person. But if it does help someone, then it just goes through my heart to be able to make a difference to somebody's life. So it's not an easy road for anyone.
Right. I get it. I don't know that I'm totally embodied, or I'd like to think that there's times when I'm totally embodied, but I understand the new construct, or it's a remembering. You said that before. I really.
And we're always going to be remembering. It isn't that we reach a point and then that's it. We'll always be evolving,
right?
Because we are human, and so you know, it is a never-ending journey, quite literally, isn't it?
Well,
Isn't it?
and I think it's also the wonder of all this is that in my my knowing is that this experiment, this is one of the first times in the I think my knowing, not everybody's knowing, that we've come to a point where we could embody our higher self in this form. In history, excuse me, I'm gonna have to do this too.
Yeah. Too much talking.
No, I think it's cat. But I feel like we have always had to die and leave this vessel, this suit, in order to go to the next realm. And this is one of the first times, maybe that's why the galaxy is so interested in us, that we can do it within a form and still play out and do the co-creation. Because this is, or the Earth School is a place for us to co-create with the divine.
Yes.
At an amazing scale. And so I see this as a renaissance, that we've kind of been in the dark ages, and we're, the more that we can embody and hold the light of who we really are, and hold more of that higher frequencies of love, that it's a catalyst that helps. So it's not just batteries, but I see it more like lighthouses. That there's, you know, when you show that there's all these pictures of the grid, and there's all these connecting lines, and there's a point on the earth that connects to this grid. There's so many people already holding frequency.
Absolutely.
And you're helping them remember, I think.
Well, hopefully, I mean, stage one of my path was to help raise the frequency of humanity. That was the part. And so how do you do that? Well, it is through love, but also to recognize that, you know, when you awaken, I had 20 million questions in my head, and the trouble is, when you get one answer, you immediately have another question. And that's what the mind does. It's never ending questions. And so, you know, I'm only doing my part. It's only one person, but I think the information I send out seems to, based on feedback, help so many understand how things work in an easy to understand manner. And then, you know, that takes me back to when, you know, when I was in mainstream, I used to train people in graphic design, and they got me to train people because I could explain it easily, how to do this. And there's this fine line between giving too much information that boggles the mind and you just want to fuse the cells in your brain, and then not enough information so that it causes confusion and you don't really understand. It's trying to find that middle balance. And obviously, I guess, looking back, being like that trainer as a graphic designer was supposed to happen in order for this to happen now, in order to try and help people. I think if you understand how something works, it helps you be at peace with that part. But ultimately speaking, we don't actually, it only satisfies the mind. That's the thing. And ultimately what we're doing is the journey of letting that, what I call the small mind, meaning the lower frequency mind, go, because it's the higher mind, which is the higher frequency mind, that you then embody. And you know, that the higher self that I talk about, that is just a higher version, a higher frequency of you. And so you have to go through all the work, the inner work, to raise the human frequency in order to match that frequency of the highest self that you already are,
Right.
and
Right.
and then become in this human physical reality.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. So you had mentioned to me before we got on that you might want to talk about what you're doing. Do you remember?
Yeah, it's just to explain, I guess. You know, I was shown earlier my awakening, my path is in stages, and it is actually in stages for everybody. So I'm in stage 2 now of the path, which is actually about, and this is what a lot of people will come into, and some already are, okay, because we're all sort of becoming all of this based on the galactic timeline,
Right.
okay, that we all work from. But the first part of my path was the way showing, to help raise the frequency of humanity for this timeline when there's mass confusion, when more and more awaken. So the stage 2 for me started in January, 2nd of January this year. And it is a case that when the higher self gets embodied, it's then that all the pieces of the puzzle start to come together. But you embody more energetic ability. Stage 2 of my path is about giving that energetic ability out in service to the whole. So in other words, I'm not always going to be the way shower. The role that I seem to appear to be playing is a stage. I won't always be posting on Facebook as in the way shower posts. It was a part of the path. And so for the last sort of 8 years, sure, I've been helping for 6 of them in terms of the writings and the support and helping people raise their energetic frequency for this timeline. Right. Sure, absolutely. I do as guided within me, and I knew to do that, and that's what I had to do. But the next stage of my path has begun behind the scenes, and it will be that unfolds for me, which will be, anybody who knows me knows that I always wanted to create, but I was told not to create until I reached a certain embodiment stage. In other words, a certain frequency. Because anything that I created before then, if I chose to write a book or do a course or do one-to-one tutoring, all of that sort of stuff, I'd drop it all when I got to a certain frequency, because I'm not here for that. I'm here to energy mastery is why I'm here, and I could do far more in my role by giving energy to people than talking about it, okay, or you know, that type of role. For me, I know my path, but I've had to embody the ability, and that's why I've never created anything. So this year I have the inner knowing now. I've been waiting and waiting, and this year has shown me what to create, whereas last year I still wasn't sure. Yeah. But I only know this year because it was only this year I was given the energy, the ability of working with energy is within me now. And so I know only a couple of weeks ago it's time to create a website. Not for it to all go online straight away. That's not the divine timeline. The divine timeline is to start to create the website. And then there will come a divine timeline when I start to give that out. So what I'll be giving is energy in different ways. It's what I've been doing behind the scenes quietly. Didn't fully understand until it was time to understand it, because I had to embody the ability. You could class it as healing, but it's it's probably the wrong word because it gives the wrong idea. It's a higher frequency energetic that I've embodied. It can be physical, mental, emotional, etherical healing. So if somebody's stuck on what I call a light node, so they just seem to be going around in circles basically, and they can't move forward, they're stuck energetically. My ability is I can shift them onto the next light node, and then their life just it opens up. Then I don't have to know a person's life to be able to heal them mentally, emotionally, or physically. In fact, the least I know, the better. It is a case that I've had to embody the ability to get out of my own way and just be a vessel for the divine to work through, because the divine already knows what you need. I don't need to know. The divine already knows what is the best thing to give this person or that person. So I do it through my hands. I do it through my eyes. My eyes can, by the way, did you know that the two eyes are different? That this eye is, obviously they're different, yeah, but I didn't mean that. Okay, but they have different purposes.
Oh.
Yeah, you see, I've been taught so much for my path, and so I understand the left eye and the right eye and the purpose of each eye, and what I'm able to do now is go into a person's left eye and go into a person's right eye, because they have two different functions. That allows them to be seen. So depending on which eye needs to be seen, okay, I'm able to allow my energy to go beyond the eye for that person to be recognized, or for that soul, the soul, to be acknowledged. There's a difference between the person and the soul. And I have done this quietly behind the scenes. People know when it happens. The other thing I'll be doing is, I know it's going to sound crazy, right? But it is what it is. It's my path, and I can't wait for this part, actually, because it means the world to me. I come from love, and I'll be going around the world because it's physical healing I give. Like, I have to be there physically, not all the time. I can do it online as well, but the power is in being there in the physical with somebody. I will be holding literally with my arms a lot of people to heal them. And that holding, again, is something I've been doing behind the scenes privately, not fully understanding the energetic ability that I was to then receive this year. But actually just physically holding a person, I get out of my way, and the divine comes through my body, through my arms, and gives exactly what that person is what is needed. And God knows it might not be what the brain thinks it needs. It's what God knows is needed by that person, or the assistance the soul is requiring for the person. And there's a lot of talk just finally about where we're headed, that healers aren't required. But the point is, to this timeline, is look at the multiple frequencies of human beings. There's one heck of a lot of people that can't heal themselves.
Right.
And there's only the utter truth. And this is what it's really good. It's already started me off. Okay. The utter truth of healing is the embodiment of love. Mm-hmm. Love is the healer.
Exactly.
So, everybody knows how much I love humanity, the kingdoms, Gaia. I give because I love. But I'll be healing because I love, and it's actually love. It's my love, God's love through me.
Right. It's
that
right.
that will heal people in many ways, whether it's physical, energetic, emotional, or mental. And I have actually been doing it for a few years. I just didn't understand. I didn't have the technical data of what I was actually doing. I had no idea what I knew I was doing it, but I didn't know how it worked. And it was this year that I was shown by the divine, like a final piece.
Wonderful.
That has allowed me to actually do it and do it and do it and do it. And it just thrills my heart that I'll be doing something that for me personally is something, all the puzzle pieces fit together, that I had wanted to do each decade of my life. And now I know why. Now I know why I wanted to do it.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm very excited.
Oh,
But it's not yet. We're not doing it yet.
Oh, well, no, but you got part of the vision so the rest of it can come in. Well, Amanda, you're
Time for the website. I know I only do as guided the energy in my body gets so excited, nothing stops me from doing. And I've waited and waited years, and it is time to build the website to show the services, etc. But it's not time to actually do it. It's not time to bring it online just yet, but it's all divinely timed. So probably by the time the website's done, it's time. Do you see what I mean? And I can only work with the divine timing, not human need, or the mind. It has to be the divine guided me. So,
yeah, I feel everything's in divine timing. I really do.
Yeah.
I think and we waste so much time, so many emotions and frequencies worrying about it. But but if we
just trust,
yes, that's
and be present, because all the information anybody needs, this is key to now come back to the present moment.
Perfect.
There lies your peace. There's always peace in the present moment, and everything you need to know. Your higher self orchestrates this. So the mind might want to know something, but the higher self is saying, no, that's sidetracking. You don't need to know that. Be here now, be present. I will show you, and everybody's got that.
Yep.
Every human being on the planet.
It's beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's perfect timing as usual. When we talked, you said, no, not last month, this month, and this date.
Yeah.
Okay, so you knew exactly when to do this, and I think Amanda, your voice has so much love in it. The resonance of your voice is so soothing and so healing. I mean, I don't know if you realize that's part of the reason why everybody, I mean, it isn't just because we love everything you write, and people flock to hear you because your voice is like a homecoming. It's
actually the just to sort of put the mechanics on that, it's actually the frequency. Yes. So the more because I can be completely in my heart, and then I can get out of my human way completely. But the more I'm in my heart, the more my voice changes, and it's actually the frequency that people are unconsciously or consciously knowing it, they're recognizing it,
right.
And that's what it's about. The more if I was on the phone, say to the bank or somebody right now, a service or something, my voice has changed over the last 7 years. It's becomes sort of more this, this is my normal voice now, but it was kind of a little bit sharper years and years ago. And this is what happens when you drop into your heart, is your frequency changes, your human changes, and the voice box changes with it.
Beautiful.
So it's actually a frequency people are recognizing, and that again, a lot of people even today, they just feel home. And if people feel home, I mean, what great joy could I be in, that people feel home, because humanity has felt so lost. They felt so unseen. They felt that nobody cares, and that's not the case.
Right.
It's not the case.
Yes.
No. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. This is just such a gift. Thank you so much. And I would love to have another talk, but we'll figure out.
We will.
Probably September. No. but anyway, thank you so much. And
thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, everybody that's here, I apologize I didn't read all your comments, but it was I made the choice to let Amanda share as much as she could, because I feel that this work and this message is going to really help so many of us as we support our families and friends as they start to wake up, as we go through any challenges that we have, to stay in trust and love.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Amanda. This is just divine work, and I feel so blessed to have you in my life. Thank you so much.
Kathy, thank you for having me, for arranging this, and thank you to everybody for showing up in the audience. And I just hope even just one sentence, if it helps you, then that makes me so happy. So look after yourselves, and just go back to the present moment whenever something may arise. There's no rush for any of this ascension. Everybody is exactly on track. And that's the absolute truth.
That's what we need to hear. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much. And if I can help you when you are ready, I'd love to help you. So
thank you so much.
I've said that many times. So anyway, well, thank you, everybody. And please share this if you have friends and family that would really benefit from hearing this work, and follow and go back and watch some of Amanda's videos. You'll be amazed at how validating her work is, and how clearly she presents it, so that you can use it right away. That you'll recognize yourself in it.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you. I don't want to sign off, but we do need to.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Bye, Kathy.
Thank you. Love you very much. Thank you
I
so
love
much.
you.